Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome along to the SFC interviews. This is Mike Heineman here with Jamal, Campbell, Ryce, of course. How you doing, Jamal? I know we just did a little brief one of these that we had a few technical issues with, and apologies about that. But you know, it's the way things go sometimes.
Nah, that's how it goes, mate. No problem at all.
So we'll carry on with where we were at. Anyway, we'll kind of go back to what I was saying. So what were the main reasons behind why you joined up with Stevenage? Obviously, you know, we spoke about Dino just briefly there a minute ago, and also about the fact you signed, you know, at the age of 35 as well. So if you want to just recap over that.
Yeah, it's just to prolong my playing career. Like I said previously, it was just I thought I still had things to offer the squad and the team and the management staff. So sometimes it's not always about playing; it's what you can bring to the squad off the field as well. Helping the youngsters and giving ideas to the coaching staff, things that I may have experienced in my past career at different clubs and all the rest of it. So I was just happy to be given that opportunity at my age to sprinkle a little bit of my experience from past time as well, not only my playing experience.
And then obviously we mentioned there about you making your debut in the Swansea Checker Trade Trophy game. So, you know, how important was that to make a name for yourself and to get yourself in the reckoning?
Yeah, I think every game's important. That you go out there and you showcase yourself properly. Obviously, that was my first game of the season, so for me, it was important to show that I can still do bits and bobs on the field and help my teammates out and still be that creator.
And then, you know, what was it like playing under Dino? What was Dino like as a coach or as a manager?
He's different to what I've experienced previously. He's very to the point and knows what he wants and quite aggressive. But I've come across many different managers who have different methods and ways to what suits them and what they think they know best.
Yeah, of course. You know, at the start of this season, Dino was relieved of his duties at the club as well. You know, did you think that was a little bit hard done by on his part? The fact it was only a month into the season.
We work in an industry where football is very cutthroat. I've seen the best of managers leave jobs when you think that there's absolutely no chance, but you never know what's going on behind the scenes and if there's a breakdown in communication and all the rest of it. If the manager and the chairman are on like different paths and have different ideas of which way they want the club to go, nobody knows. Obviously, it doesn't look great when you say you've been relieved from your duties or been sacked. Some may say.
Yeah.
So like nothing in this game surprises me, to be honest.
And you played alongside Revs in that squad last season. So how do you think Alex is going to get on now that he's been put in charge as a manager?
No, I'm absolutely delighted for Revs. Like myself, he's got bags and bags of experience, years under his belt. Very knowledgeable of the game. And not only that, first and foremost, he's an absolute gentleman. All the boys respect him and love him for the guy he is, and I'm sure that he'll do very, very well in his coaching career.
Hopefully that's the case. Obviously, he's got some good experience alongside him. Lenny Lawrence is there as well, and also Mark Sampson's still there. He's still a part of the squad. Obviously, Mark was brought in the start of this season as well, just gone, and Lenny's just been brought in the last month, 6 weeks or so to help out as well.
No, that's fantastic for him. You know, obviously, it's almost when you come out of playing and you go straight into the management side or coaching side, whatever way you say it. It's almost like being a YTS again. And even though he's got 20 years experience under his belt, everybody needs help. It's different for him. Before on a Saturday at 3 p.m. he'd be going out there and all he'd be worrying about is himself. He's got 18 players to worry about now and picking the right team and all the rest of it. So in that sense, everybody could use a helping hand, and he's got some great experience next to him.
That's right, and I'm sure they'll he'll very much lean on that as well, and they'll sort of guide him along the way and help him out. You know, if he does start to struggle or anything like that, obviously they've got a lot of experience to help him out of that and help him to actually, come out the other end.
100%. That's, like I said, that's what you want. You just, when things are maybe not going so right, and even when things are going right, you still want help. You still want to be keep being guided in the right way. It's not all about being guided when you're going the wrong way. It's being kept on that right path when you're going the right way, and these things are vital. And like I said, with the two chaps that he's got at his side, I'm sure that they'll do that.
That's right. I'm sure they'll do really well. So in your spell at Stevenage there, you made 12 appearances for the club, and that was largely down to having injury as well as, spells out of the squad and stuff as well. But how frustrating was that for you to only make such a small amount of appearances, or, where you kind of just resigned to, just helping out where you can? And if you were told to come on and make a difference, then you were, more than capable and ready to do that.
Yeah, obviously every single footballer, like that, you ask what is the most frustrating thing, and that's not playing, that's not being a part of it. And obviously, and the next thing is when you're injured, and like you said there, a large part of it was being injured, and that was hugely frustrating. But like I said, that's football. Like when it's a physical sport that we're in, and especially at my age at 35, it's difficult to look after your body. You've got to work even harder to make sure that you're up to the levels and keeping up. And unfortunately, I kept breaking down. But when I was available, I like to think that I gave a good account of myself, and hopefully the Stevenage fans thought so as well.
Yeah, definitely. The ones I've spoken to, and myself from seeing you play as well. And every time I saw you play, you were always looking to get on the ball, always looking to create, and that's the kind of thing that we were looking for, and the kind of things that get fans excited. So no, you've done your job in that sense.
Thank you.
And then we've got some more questions here now. What would you say your best moment was at Stevenage in the time you were there, or your best kind of memory of your time there?
Do you know what? This may sound corny and cheesy, but like I came into a dressing room, and it was like I made some good friends there. Like we had a great dressing room, and sometimes at times the season was tough. We alluded to the questions before being injured and being out of the side. Sometimes you need good people around you to get you through them tough times, because like I said, people think that footballers, it's a great job and all the rest, and don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic career I've had, and lucky enough I've been in the game for 20 years, and I'm eternally thankful. But there are dark days when you're injured and you can't get fit, and you keep breaking down and all the rest of it, or you're just not in the squad, and you're not in and around it, and you're just frustrated. So the best thing for me was going into a dressing room and meeting some good people, like we said, Revs and Ronnie Henry. What a great captain he is! Like, just for like, I think he's a very good footballer. But not only that, I think he's a fantastic geezer as well. Like, always got a smile on his face, whether he was out the side, whether he was injured. Always knew how to pick the squad up. People like Ben Nugent, like Emmanuel Snoopy, Michael Timlin. Like Mike Timms was A1. We used to sit next to each other in the changing room, and he was brilliant. I loved Timms to bits, and Joel Byram, Hunty. So like, I was blessed that at the time that Dino had created a very good squad.
That's right. And then towards the end of that season, if I'm right, was when Ilias Chair came in as well. Were you still there at that point?
Yeah, I was there with Illy.
So what was he like? Obviously the fans could see what he was like when he was on a match day, but what was he like away from, like in training and things like that? Obviously on a match day, he was the kind of player that could just win you a game or change a game in an instant.
Yeah, Illy trained how he played. He was a fantastic footballer. I'll be honest with you, he reminded me, he's the first thing I've seen at that age and with that ability since I played with Jack Grealish at Notts County. Just came in and just took over and owned the club and owned a match day, and I could see that he's going to go on to do great things. Obviously, he's playing week in, week out at QPR now, which I don't think anybody could have doubted. But I think he's gonna go on to do bigger and better things, just like what Jack Grealish is doing now.
Yeah, 100%. You mentioned Jack Grealish there when you were at Notts County. So, what would you say was the sort of best players that you played alongside and played against in your career?
Oh, mate, there's far too many to name.
Yeah.
Obviously I played on the international stage as well, so there's been some fantastic footballers that I played on there. Like I said, I just mentioned Jack. He was a fantastic young talent, unbelievable. But I've played with also players like Scott Parker, who was like ridiculous, Klaus Jensen, Paolo Di Canio. These players are like world class players that are fantastic and just do things out of nothing. Paul Hartley when I was at Bristol City,
Oh, yeah.
fantastic footballer. Yannick Bolasie, Albert Adoma, Nicky Maynard. Like the list goes on. Players I played against: Cristiano Ronaldo, Rooney. Like honestly, like Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard. Like I could just sit here and just list players for absolute fun. But yeah, I've been lucky enough to and blessed that I've been able to grace the field with and against some of them players.
That's right. And then what I will touch on actually as well is you recently came out and you spoke about the racism that you suffered during your career. So, how did you use that to sort of motivate you?
Do you know what? I've done over this pandemic and the lockdown period. I've done a lot of interviews, and to obviously racism's been a huge talking point on it.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky that I've always had thick skin, and I've always been able to bat it off, and it's always been water for a duck's back for me.
Yeah.
But some players like handle things differently. I'm lucky that I've been able to use that, and it would spur me on to want to do better, and it would make me hungrier to want to run faster, to take on that extra player, to score the extra goal, to assist. So I just you know what? It's not right, but it's just a way of the world, and to try and change the world is a difficult thing. It's a thing that's not going to change tomorrow. It takes years and years of consistency, and that's why with this Black Lives Matter thing that's
Yeah.
going on, I just hope that it's a consistent thing, and it ain't just fashionable. It doesn't just look good, and it's not done for, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 months, and then it's just a facade, and it's just people. It's just one of those things. I just hope that it can continue to grow, and people be educated in the right way.
Yeah, that's right. Did you think that it was actually the right time to come out and speak about that as well with the Black Lives Matter, movement? Did you think it was the right time to come out and speak, because of that reason as well?
I just think any time's a good time to talk on racism.
Yeah.
When there's not a good time to talk on racism and educate people in the right way, and talk on your experiences and stuff like that. I think it's vitally important that people are enlightened on what some people have to go through, and it sometimes in life things aren't as easy as the man next door. You have to go through different things and jump through different holes just to make a way in life. So that's just the way it is. Everything's different. Everyone's different. So that's all I was explaining.
Fair enough. So how grateful were you to Dino for showing faith in you when you were at Stevenage?
Yeah, obviously, like I like to think that like my career has given me that I earned that to clubs that I've been at. Every time I've got to move or sign for a club or whatever, I like to feel that like I've earned that. And like over the years, like I said, I joined Stevenage off, and I've been playing in the game 18, 19 years. So I'd like to think that like my resume was what got me there. But of course, like I'm grateful to everybody that's given me an opportunity.
And then, what are your thoughts on the signings that have been made by the club? There's quite a few that have come out of non-league, but then there's a few others that have had Football League experience as well, with Romain Vincelot, who's come in, and Ben Coker, who was signed this afternoon as well.
Wow, they're very good signings. Romain Vincelot, I really like. I've always liked Ben Kokart. Very, very good footballer. I think the club have done well to get hold of him. I think he struggled with injuries the last couple of
Yeah.
years, but two very good signings, and hopefully they'll hope the. Is it been confirmed that Stevenage are down, right?
There's not, well, it's 99% confirmed, I'd say. But then at the same time, I think there's still a slight chance that the EFL are actually going to appeal it. So I think we find out next Tuesday, if I'm right.
Okay, fingers crossed. Hopefully, the club can stay in the league. But if they go down, they're two fantastic signings to obviously try and get them back in the football league.
Yeah, and then there's quite a few, other players that have been signed out of non-league as well. So, I'm sure they'll be hungry to want to come and prove a point with Stevenage, in the Effie Young and Femi Akinwande as well, and Elliot Osborne, some of the other ones that have been signed out of the National League and a little bit below.
Brilliant. Good luck to them. I hope they do well, Chris. It's a very good club. Obviously, the training ground's fantastic. The chairman built a new stand, so the club's looking to go places, and hopefully they can get back to where they belong.
And then what are your thoughts on the work the club have done in the community? I don't know if you've seen much of that on social media, if you're on there or anything like that, or across the club's website throughout the pandemic with the sandwich deliveries and the helpline for people and things like that. I don't know if you saw much about that.
No, I've not seen anything, but by the sounds of it, that's fantastic because, like I said, during this COVID time, I think everybody struggled. Whether they're like been struggling with losing a job, being furloughed, not working, and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I think we just lost you there, have we? Are you still there? I can't see you.
Mike. Yeah, Mike.
Yeah.
Is it possible? Can I just? Yeah.
Go on.
Sorry, my daughter's calling. I think she just had an accident. Is it okay if I call you back? Is it okay if I jump back on and give me 5 minutes?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll hold for it until you go and sort that. No, you go and do what you got to
do. Yeah. Thank
stay
you.
on here. Yeah, that's fine. You go and do what you got to do. That's okay. So we're still going to be joined by Jamal Campbell, Ryce. He's just going to go and sort that out. He will be back ever so shortly, guys. We'll stay on live as well. But it's very interesting to hear what he's got to say. And really, down to earth kind of player. And yeah, really good bloke. The phone's ringing over there as well now. But no, that's all right. We'll leave that. I'll get that after. So whilst Jamal's not with us, what I will mention is we've got Barry Hales coming on at 8 o'clock tonight as well. And he's going to be a great one. Myself and Ry there is in the chat. We'll be speaking to Barry Hales in around about an hour and a half, just over an hour and a half time. And we will, ask him lots of great questions. I've still got quite a few more here for Jamal when he comes back as well. Of course, if you've got any questions you want me to ask yourself, then feel free to put that in the chat there along the sides for when Jamal is able to get back and once he's sorted out everything that he's just had to sort out there now. But I'm really enjoying speaking to Jamal. What I will say is I'm really enjoying doing these interviews as well. In fact, this is number 20 that I've done now, and we've done quite a few, got quite a few more lined up as well. What I'll mention is I'll be speaking to Danny Potter on Sunday. I'll also be speaking to Chris Beardsley and Darren Murphy on Monday as well. So lots lined up. Ry is in there as well. Do you want to come in for a minute? Put your thumb up if you want to come in. Yeah, okay, he wants to come in. Oh, and Jamal's back anyway, so that's fine. Let me just bring him back in. That's all right, mate. Everything okay?
Yeah, sorry about that. She was struggling, she's on the motorway just driving, so I was just worried about her.
No, that's perfectly fine, mate. As long as everything's all right. So we'll carry on with where we were at, really. So the next question I was going to ask you was you sort of touched on the community side of it, didn't you? What I asked you with that.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. Like, you never know what's going on in people's heads when they're at home and not working and stuff. And obviously
Yeah.
we were on lockdown for a number of months, so there's a lot of people that suffer with depression and anxiety. So things like that,
Hmm.
I think it's a fantastic idea from the club, and I think it will be greatly appreciated by the community.
And then, you mentioned there about the anxiety and the depression side of it. What are, the football club like, Stevenage Football Club like, what are they like in terms of helping out with mental health? If any players have had any issues, are they really good, or are they, what would you say
Do
about
you, do
that?
you know? While I was at the club, like there was nobody that I knew that I was aware of that suffered with mental health. But I know it's a huge issue in football and then all walks of life
Yeah.
in this day and age. So I think it's massive, and I'm sure that Stevenage would have things in place to help their own players and their own members of staff, whoever it may be, backroom staff, whatever. Because I think it's huge right now, and it is vitally important that people that do struggle with mental health do reach out, and because the moment you reach out, that's the best time that you can get help.
Oh, absolutely. It's the whole problem shared is a problem half saying, yeah.
Exactly that.
And then we'll go into a little bit more about, when you were at Stevenage, how important did you think that it was for the younger lads to, to learn off of you and to, sort of look up to you as a role model? Did you see yourself as a role model to some of the younger boys?
Yeah, I think so. Subconsciously, I think so. Got your young players like Liam Smythe and Arthur Ireton. You're constantly talking to them, and they're constantly asking you things, and you
Yeah.
just want to keep them on the right track and the right path. And I always use the example: train how you play. So every day in training, I trained hard. I wanted to run hard. I wanted to tackle hard, and I wanted to win games in training. So it's just, I think it's so important that you show the youngsters that, because the moment that they see, I don't know, Jamal Campbell, Ryce or Alex Ravel or Michael Timlin walking around and like tossing off training, that they almost think that it's okay for them to do that, and it's absolutely not. So I think we created a culture around the club, around the training ground, that working hard was paramount, and that was first and foremost, and they all bought into that.
Okay. So we've got, how unfortunate do you think the club were not to get into the playoffs in that season when you were there as well? We narrowly missed out. I think we finished 10th in that season, if I'm correct as well. Was that right?
Yeah, but it was just missed off by, was it a point or two or something like
I
that?
think it was a point on the final, because we had a good run. We had a really good run, in fact, towards the
Was
end of that season.
was it 5 wins in 6 games in the last 6 games of the season or something like that? It was something
Yeah, that's
crazy like
right.
that.
Yeah.
At one point we was nowhere near it, and then we just went on that run, but unfortunately, but this is football, like we always say, if you win 3 games on a spin, like that can take you anywhere. Um, so it's just unfortunate. It's just the way football goes. It was a strong finish, but it just wasn't meant to be.
And then, when that season finished, obviously we just missed out on the playoffs. But in hindsight, if we'd got a few more results or a little bit more luck sometimes, then, would have got into the playoffs. And then how do you think that squad would have done in the playoffs? And, do you think they were capable of competing at a higher level as well if they did get into the playoffs and maybe gain promotion?
Well, I think the word you use there is hindsight. I think you
Yeah.
can use that word all the time, and ifs, buts, and maybes. And to be honest with you, like I'm brutally honest, I think the playoffs is just an absolute lottery. Um,
Hmm.
I've seen so many good teams over the years get there, and you think, oh, guaranteed, and they're the first ones out. So I just think it's just on the day, it's just a little bit of luck and all the rest of it. So I really don't think it's about who's better than who. I literally just think it's about who turns up and who handles the pressure a little bit better than the other.
Yeah, I think that's a good point actually as well, because sometimes I think Stevenage, when they were promoted out of League Two, they probably weren't the favourites to get promoted. I don't think we finished in the highest playoff position, and then we still managed to get out. So it is it's a luck factor, isn't it? Yeah.
There you go.
And then what was it like playing alongside Ronnie? Obviously, you mentioned it there, and Ronnie was, he's gone on to be the record holder now, over 500 appearances for the club. To speak about Ronnie a little bit.
I can't speak highly enough of the boy, honestly. Great character, one of the best characters that I've come across in football, and honestly, I've come across a lot. He reminds me a bit of my time when I was at Barnsley of Rob Kozluk, who also played for Sheffield United.
Okay.
But honestly, like when I'm saying a fantastic captain, and every single day he'd come in and he was smiling and he was happy, and he would drag you through like dark days and days when training's tough, and he'd come in and he'd crack a joke and just make light of everything. And not only that, not off the field, but on the field, like what I thought he was a very, very, very good football player. Very good technically, good defender, and wears his heart on his sleeve, and he'd do anything for Stevenage.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you have a good chemistry and a good bond with him down that right-hand side as well?
Yeah, Ron was like very intelligent footballer. So I love playing with him. And like I said, a great guy, great player.
So what are you up to now then in terms of, your own stuff? Are you doing coaching, or are you, away from football at the moment? What's JCR up to at the minute?
No, I'm at Colchester. Like this season just gone, I was player coach at Colchester for the 23s. So that was good. So now I'm just transitioning myself into the coaching world. A bit like Revs, but Revs has been accelerated, and fair play to him. So now I'm just learning my trade coaching, which I'm thoroughly enjoying at a very good club in Colchester.
And then what would you say to anyone that wanted to go into coaching, maybe like young up and coming coaches, maybe starting out at grassroots, for example? What would you say to them, and, a little bit of advice or anything like that?
It's the same thing I'd say to young players that are trying to become footballers. Just work hard, and if that's your passion, then graft that. Nothing comes easy. You just have to work hard and prove to people that you're good. And if you're not good, work at being good.
Yeah, absolutely. That's probably the same with management as well. Very similar, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And then what would you say in regards to the whole situation with Macclesfield? I know it's a very difficult one to answer, and it's a tricky one to kind of put you on the spot a little bit. But how do you think the club, do you think the club are going to have any chance of getting out of that, or do you think they are resigned to conference football, or as we said, is it just a matter of
I don't think you can pass judgment on things like that are going on at other clubs. I think it's difficult, and obviously they're going to try their hardest to do what they need to do, but I think it's going to be out of their hands and out of everybody else's hands and up to the EFL.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got my own opinion on that. I think it's the fact that the season hadn't finished. I think that kind of says it all. And on my side, I suppose I'm being biased though as well. But I do think that there's 10 games to go. Anything could have happened.
Yeah, absolutely. I think most would agree. It's a little bit like the playoffs and done on points per game, how teams have got in the playoffs. I don't think the ones obviously the ones that didn't make the playoffs, I think that they would argue the same thing. So obviously the Football League is just trying to do things in a fair sort of way and all the rest of it, but really I don't think there's any right way to do it. So we just have to wait and see.
And hopefully we'll get some news early next week, and we'll be able to focus on what league we're in, and go from there. And kind of just the signings that we're making, they're really good signings. No matter what league we're in, if we're in the conference, they'll go and do a really good job. And if we end up in the Football League, I'm sure the players that are been brought in, and the players that are there as well and signed on for another season, like Scotty Cuthbert, for example, will want to go out and sort of right the wrongs of last season.
Yeah, exactly. I think you got a great base there with Scotty Cuthbert, a very good captain, and he'll be welcoming them boys to come in, and they'll be looking to hit the ground running.
Yeah, and then we've got in terms of the FA Cup, there was a game against Plymouth, was the game that we played in the FA Cup. So how unfortunate do you think we were in that game? Obviously, it was a 94th minute winner, if I remember rightly, for Plymouth. And we were right on the verge of taking them back to Broadhall Way for the replay. And also the second part of that is how important is a cup run, an FA Cup run for somebody like Stevenage to be able to get in, better players and, to kind of boost the wages and the transfer budget that they might not have had already at the start of the season.
Yeah, I think cup runs definitely, like for the chairman, for any chairman, like they're basically looking at cup runs as helping a club monetary wise. So they're always trying to push the club to go as far as possible. It's always exposure, and like I said, financially it helps the club as well. Going back to the Plymouth game, we done ever so well to push them as far as we did, but if I'm being honest, and if anybody listening was at the game, it was a game that was very tough, and we was on the back foot for large amounts of the game. I thought they were a very good side, and they went up, didn't they? Yeah, they went up that year.
Yeah, I think they did go up that season. Yeah.
Yeah, and you could show why they had a very very good side and very good players. But like I said, we done well. Holding them for as long as we did, but they were a very good side that day.
We've got a question here, just a general football question from James. Did you ever play at Ninian Park for maybe Barnsley or Bristol City? And what was that like? Was it an intimidating ground to play at, Ninian Park being Cardiff?
Yeah, I did play at Ninian Park, and Cardiff, the fans are always intimidating. Great, passionate fans. Love their city, love their club, love their players. So played there, a couple of times actually. Fantastic ground.
And then we've got a question here from Paul as well, from going back to the whole racism stuff as well. We had the Kick It Out campaign. How much did that change, or did that change anything, do you think, or not?
This has been my not my argument, but my point recently, and what I alluded to earlier, with the Black Lives Matter. Now we've had Kick It Out, but that hasn't really changed anything. Like over the years, obviously, we've all worn the t-shirts that's Kick It Out and stuff like that. But what has really changed, and not enough in my opinion, and that's no slight on the Kick It Out campaign. That is what we're doing collectively as a country, as a nation, as footballing people. What have we actually done? So I'm hoping that Black Lives Matter can add to that, and maybe the two work together and really start educating people properly.
Got a question from Russ as well. He's a Yorkshire lad. What did you think to your spell at Rotherham? He's a Leeds United fan, but he's got a lot of Rotherham and relatives in his family and stuff, and he's been to a lot of Rotherham games and stuff as well himself.
When I signed for Rotherham, that was my first club away from Charlton. Obviously, being a local London lad, and moving up north to Rotherham, and it was different, and probably that was the move that turned a boy into a man, really. And being up north all on my own, living on my own, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I went there when they was in the Championship. I signed in January. We was actually rock bottom of the Championship, and we subsequently got relegated. But I had a very good half a season, and then played the first part of the next season and got a move to South End. But yeah, Rotherham, I enjoyed it there. I really did. Good club.
And you just mentioned about Southend there. Is it true, or was it? Am I right in thinking that you were part of the Southend side that knocked out the Man United side? Was it the League Cup with? Was that when you played against Ronaldo?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Freddie Eastwood scored a free kick. Yeah, 1-0 at Roots Hall then.
I remember that. I watched that one back the other day. In fact, and it was I've got a few friends that live down in Southend and Essex as well, big Southend fans who were actually at that game, and they still can't really believe it to the day that they beat Man United with the kind of players that they had.
Yeah, it was a great occasion. Very good.
And then a question from Nathan here, going back to Stevenage. Did you enjoy your time at Stevenage and your song as well that was created by the fans?
Yeah, I had an indifferent time at the club. Obviously, like I said, everybody wants to play, and I didn't play as much as I wanted to, which is unfortunate. But like I said, I enjoyed it for the people that was there and all the rest of it. So yeah, it's just another part of my story, and the song. I think any football player loves a song when their song when they're being sung when they're out on the pitch. I think it shows that they're liked and appreciated.
That's right. And how much did you know about Stevenage? Obviously, you played for local rivals Barnet just a couple of seasons previously as well. So did you actually come up against Stevenage a few times before you actually signed? And what was your reaction to signing for Stevenage? And obviously the Barnet fans probably were a little bit salty about that, I suppose, being the fact you used to play for them and have moved to a rival.
Yeah, I just think it's just football, isn't it? It's just one of those things. I've played against Stevenage a few times. Again, it seems like over the years, I think Graham Wesley, and when Dino was there with Graham, they instilled that hard working ethic within the squad, and I think that's run throughout the squad for years, and I think it will do for years to come. Yeah, every time I played against them, they were very hard working and played against some very good sides.
Okay, thanks for that. So as well as playing for a lot of teams in the football league, there you've already touched on the fact you play for your country as well. So what was it like to put on a Jamaican shirt and to go out there and to represent your country?
Probably the proudest times in my career representing my country. Obviously, being an international footballer, that's something that nobody can rip away from you. So yeah, very very proud. It made my family very proud as well.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. I bet that was plenty of great times there. For throughout the internationals as well. What we got here? Oh, I've got a question now. I'll have a look at that in a minute, right? So yeah, what are your thoughts on Paul Farman as well? Paul Farman was another one. How do you think Stevenage are gonna do with him? Do you think they'll be able to keep hold of him, and do you think they'll be able to tie him down for another season and kind of as fans we absolutely love Farms, and we think that he's one of the players that we absolutely do need to sign down as much as we can. Because he's a top class keeper, whether it's League Two or Conference. It's come out. I think yesterday there were some massive stats that he was one of the best in all 4 divisions.
I think Farms is a fantastic goalkeeper, and again, may sound very repetitive, but a great guy. But yeah, unbelievable. Got everybody knows he's got a huge kick, but he's kept when I was there, kept us in so many games, and just a great character to have around the place as well. And I think that's so important at football clubs, not only to have good players, but to have good characters around the place that can uplift people. And he was definitely one of those.
And then we've got a question here from Paul as well. You had lots of loans early on. How hard are they to get your head around, especially when you don't see a future for yourself at that club? Maybe you'll go there for a short spell to get some minutes and some game time, but you don't see a long-term future there.
I don't care. I've always my standpoint is always I just want to play football. Throughout my career, if there's ever been an occasion where I've not been playing or whatever. And some of my loans have been with view to permanent. So
Yeah.
there's different reasons. But at times, if I've ever been at a club and I've not been involved and the manager's not having me for whatever reason or whatever, that's fine, no problem. I've just always wanted to go out on loan and play football.
Fair enough. We've got another question here from Rye as well. What are your thoughts on Frank Newball after he signed at Plymouth?
Yeah, very good player. I think he'll do very well there. He's he's got all the attributes. He's quick, he's strong, skillful. He'll get you maybe 10, 12 goals a season. I think that's a very good signing for Plymouth.
And then we've got just a few more questions, really, not too many. Obviously, in your spell there, you played alongside Ben Kennedy and Joel Byram, who have now left the club. What did you think about the fact that, Revs have decided to get rid of those players now? And do you think they'll, be able to get into a new club easily and kind of just settle in, nice and quickly?
I don't think for anybody getting another club is going to be easy in this day and age. And I've seen today that they've released salary caps across leagues 1 and 2 as well. So I think there's going to be a lot more players that are going to be out of work, which is unfortunate. But again, like Ben Kennedy, like great ability, underachieving a little bit for me in his career so far. And Joel Byram, one of the most technically gifted players with absolutely no legs that I've seen. I think I called him the ticker there. He just kept things ticking over. A great passer of the ball. Yeah. And again, another great lad, but very, very good footballer technically.
And then we'll start to wrap things up actually in a second. But when you signed for the club, you signed alongside 13 other players as well. So what was it like to kind of come in with so many new faces? And, did you all kind of just help each other to settle in?
I think that's football clubs, how football clubs at the lower leagues are now. Like every year, it's like a massive exodus, and then new players come in, or it might be a new manager that's come in and wants his own team and all the rest of it. For me, I think it's always difficult that way. But you come in and you try and bond as quickly as possible, and hopefully the team gels. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, and then just the final question, really. What do you think Stevenage should be aiming for in the long term? Obviously, the club are, not too sure what division we'll be in next season. And also, we've got, quite a lot of other London teams around the area that are competing for the fans as well. Arsenal, Spurs, Chelsea as well. And then the other success stories of the Premier League, the likes of Leicester and Liverpool recently, and Man City and Man United as well.
What are their plans for the long term? What should their plans be?
Yeah.
Really, just to maintain their league position. I think that should be first and foremost. Just be stable there. Be one of the clubs that are a league club mainstay. Mm-hmm. And then you build from there. You don't want to be one of those clubs that are up and down and don't know where they're going to be next year and don't know what the budget's going to be, and you don't want to keep fluctuating. So I think it's so important to be one of those clubs that can stay in the league for as long as possible, and then you build from there.
That's right. And then if the club are to, end up playing conference football next season, do you see the club being able to bounce back, an early opportunity?
Well, by the sounds of the players that they've signed, that you've said, 100%. With a mix of experience and youngsters and hungry players coming in, I don't see why not.
Okay, just got a question here from James Costley as well. Again, what do you think of Birmingham retiring the number 22 shirt with Jude Bellingham moving across to Dortmund?
I think that's a huge accolade for the boy. It's an unbelievable achievement. It just shows how much the club thought of him, and fair play to him. Good luck.
Okay, and then we've got one more question. This is the last one now. So, did the players know much about Dino's affinity with the club? And the previous fact he'd been there as a player and under Wesley as well, or didn't you really pay much attention to that? Was he just your gaffer and you just kind of did what he told you, sort of thing?
No, of course. Like obviously everybody when a club comes knocking and you find out who the manager is, obviously you do your own little bit of research, like just like how the managers researched you. But I
Yeah.
think everybody knows that how Dino was very close with growing Wesley and their success at the club previously.
All right, and then just a little message for the fans, really, at the end of this. You got any message that you want to just give out to the Stevenage fans at the end of this little chat we've had?
Yeah, just thank you for welcoming me to the club and being so great for me.
That's all right, and of course, best of luck with everything that you do at Colchester. And you've mentioned there that you're going to be coaching with them and doing some coaching with them. So hopefully it all goes well. And hopefully, we'll cross paths again in League Two, not too far away.
Top man, thank you.
Cheers, Jamal. Thanks a lot,
Cheers,
mate.
mate. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
You too. Bye now.